Justin Royce, the Emperor of the Royce Empire. I'm a creative person, I'm business oriented, family oriented, and I feel like my job is to help people and put them in the best position that they could be in when it comes to things creatively or even business wise when they didn't normally have an outlet. So that's what I feel motivated by, especially with my family and my friends. And I do my best to make sure I put people in position to do their best. One of the goals that I really want, especially when it comes to like Royce Empire Presents, which is more of the creative aspect of things, is just to employ my friends and family in a more consistent basis, purely creatively too. Like I want them to be able to say, my job as an actor, and not even so much my job as an actor and I'm getting paid between like one gig and I gotta wait and I gotta get another gig and I do something else on the side. Just more so like that's my job. You're on salary, you got a 401k just like anybody else got an insurance job. I want you to be able to do that, at home at the Royce Empire when it comes to your creative aspects. Yeah, I'm feeling good. I feel like I've been waiting for this for a while, like being able to express more in depth about things and initiatives that I care about. My childhood gave me, a pretty strong relationship with God. And it also allowed me to understand that the things that I'm interested in is achievable. You just gotta really want it. You gotta be disciplined. You have to leverage that relationship with God. And you gotta work too. Like it's not one of those situations where you get things because you want it. You get things because you bully your way into it. You bully your way into getting it. There's two realities. The reality in the future where you get what you want and the reality in the future in which you don't. It's up to you to determine which reality actually will exist. I won a lot of things. I'm not gonna lie. I was really competitive. I am very competitive. One of my biggest accomplishments, especially when it comes to creatively, is a writing competition I won when I was like 8. And it was about a story of a missing ring or something like that. It was just something I came up with. The reason why I won, I realized too, was because I didn't just focus too much on just the writing of the story, but also how it was presented to the people who were being judged. Like I had like it laminated and it was like binded perfectly and whatnot. I just leveraged my connections to get the best presentation. And then I ended up winning an award, and I feel like that's indicative of everything else like that I'm doing now. I realized that there's more to it than just the actual story. It's how you present the story. It's how you're able to narrate the story. It's about the marketing behind it. The experience of actually being entertained and watching the story, reading the story, and understanding it is just as important.
You made that yourself?
Yeah, well, I had it made. I love like just throwing stuff together. And this is knit. I like the knit fabric. It's more sophisticated. It's not really streetwear, but I have, Seaside Park from Bridgeport right in the front. And I got the Bridgeport smokestack in the back. It's part of my Emperor line. It's sophisticated, nice and clean, good fit, high quality materials. You got the logo too, of course. You gotta have a logo. Yeah, it's on my website, RoyceEmpire.com. It was kind of surreal, to be honest. At some point in time, you feel like, okay, we're actually making a movie, right? And I feel like a movie is probably one of the last types of sacred media, because people love saying everybody makes music, right? Or everybody takes pictures, everybody's a fashion person. And it kind of diminishes the value to certain people because they're like, everybody's doing it. When you're making a feature film, everybody really can't do it. Jamal Woolard brings a sense of professionalism just due to experience. Like he's a pleasure to work with, very easy to get along with, and then on top of that, he knows how to act.
And I feel like this is a wise choice. This investment is gonna be great for both of us.
Yeah, all right. Sounds good. I'm gonna see my money back.
Typically, we got about 4 to 8 weeks on the return.
They go hand in hand.
I feel you.
So it's refreshing to see somebody who like been in the game for how long he's been in it and still bring something new to set. Still could make other people feel comfortable even with his star status, etc. So I think it's dope. I worked with him on 2 films. I never had a bad vibe from him. He's always been great. He's always been cool. And like I said, the Royce Empire is a family company, and you know he's comfortable being around family. So I really like that. Bridgeport the movie, the plot, I wrote that for Bridgeport the movie because I wanted to make a film that highlighted the actors that I knew were going to be in the film, right? And the way I played it was, I told everybody, listen, if you're interested in being in Bridgeport the movie, I know this is one of my first films. Send me an audition and I'll place you. And what I started to do was build characters based upon people's natural tendency that I was able to see with their audition. So I'm looking at your audition, I'm like, all right, you're a little funny, you know, all right, you're a little mean. And I kind of catered the character to your natural acting tendency, so it'd be easier for you to just get directly into that. And then I built the script based upon, you know, some things I wrote in the past, some scenes I wrote in the past, and just things I thought would be interesting. Dead in the Day, I ended up catering that script to what needed to be done in terms of my character, because at first it was written by a guy who helped me direct it down south with him and his crew, and Shannon Washington, by the way, they had a totally different vision, but I ended up taking what they did, bringing it up to Connecticut and like doing something totally different because in terms of the logistics of actually finishing the film, there were some things that got in the way on their end and whatnot. So I felt like, okay, how does this story translate to what I want it to be and how I can control it? And I was able to cater it in that direction. So Day 2 Die, which is the sequel to Dead in the Day, will kind of highlight where that storyline is going based upon my own independent thought. I definitely share characteristics with both characters, Joe and Sha. Sha actually means emperor. So that's why his name is Sha, because he wants to be as big as he can be in a city that he already is profitable in. And it's just more of not a sinister, but more of a thwarted twist on his outlook. So the things that he would do, I wouldn't normally do. It's more of a dramatization of, you know, a character, but his outlook and what he wants to do and, you know, certain things that he's motivated by are kind of similar to me. And then on top of that with Joe, his want and need to be better than what the college degree gave him, and that drive, you know, that speaks from the heart. Anytime your demographic has anything to do with black people, period, here's a hack. Make sure the music and sound is dope. Because that's what we care about. Like, if you don't got the right sound, if you're not hitting in the ears, we really don't even care. When it comes to sound, when it comes to music, etc., from the church, that's like our number one priority is making sure you got sound situated. So that wasn't really hard for us. DJ, D. Tovin, Brown, he's a childhood friend of mine, and he's, you know, a professional musician. He curated a lot of the sound when it came to Dead in the Day and Bridgeport the movie. And then with Bridgeport the movie, I had local producers who are really, really talented send in some sounds. I had even some of my own sounds, and then we kind of just compiled it into the timeline that you actually see. So I'm proud of it.
For the scene when you told the girl, like, no, like, hell no, like, and then you had that background music that it was like, and it had it made the room shake.
Yeah.
I really like how you included that side of it too.
Do we know these kids?
And we were able to speak to the maintenance team.
I'm tired of hearing about maintenance. Do we know the kids that vandalized my hair studio?
Yeah, a lot of times people skip over it because they're just too concerned about the visual, when they don't realize that the emotion of it is really dictated by what people hear too. So I can sit there and yell at you, and then if it's just me just yelling in the room, it doesn't hit the same as if I hit you with a bomb right now, or I hit you with a violin at this point in time, or I hit you with some type of bass that puts you in the mode too. So, you know, I'm happy about the soundtrack. I'm happy about the score. And yeah, when you watch Bridgeport the movie, you really see the culmination of good visuals and good sound. It includes essentially all minority-owned businesses that wouldn't necessarily have that exposure. So you're seeing B-roll with Black lawyers who are actually lawyers in real life. Locations like bars and clubs that actually exist in real life. Eateries that actually exist in real life. So it's dope exposure, and I feel like it's going to compound into one another. More people are going to want to be involved. And it'll promote a healthy culture, especially in like the Bridgeport and CT area, because it's actually a good storyline, but it also is highlighting businesses that probably wouldn't have that exposure any other time.
What's the name of your elementary school?
Multicultural Magnet. JFK is actually the name of this whole campus. 4 different schools on here, at least when I was going here. One campus with like three or four different schools on it. So there's 3 schools. There's 6-6 Magnet, there's Multicultural Magnet, and then there's High Horizons Magnet. At least that's what it was when I was a kid. And then there's Thurgood Marshall over there too. So this is all the JFK campus, east side of Bridgeport. This used to be called East Side Middle School. Then it became a magnet school. When I was going to school, the demographic was mainly minority, but it was Portuguese and Brazilian culture. I think was probably like anywhere from 40+% to 60% around near, like from kindergarten to 8th grade. Then we had a decent amount of Black kids too. Not too many just like pure white kids, like American white. Smaller demographic of like Asians and other cultures. A lot of Spanish. So I'd say like the bulk of it is like Portuguese and Spanish speaking countries. And then as I started to like get to 8th grade, I think those demographics probably got even bigger. So I think it's probably stronger still in that like Brazilian, Portuguese, Spanish speaking countries, as opposed to just, you know, native, American, Black, or American white. Whether it be school and church, some of the biggest things is just like practice and discipline. I mean, we didn't really have a sports team here. I think for like maybe a year we did. But when it came to doing the extracurricular work and the extracurricular activities, we practiced. Here we practice. You want to learn Spanish? You got to practice. I'm still not fluent, but hablo español un poquito. But we practice, right? And then when I was at church and we was in the choir, we practice. And just understanding that if you want to get good at something, you have the ability to do it. It's just that you have to practice it. Now, your practice may take longer than somebody else's. Somebody else might be a little bit quicker to it. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you won't be as good as them or even better. It's just that you have to figure out what works for you and how to get better for you. Like how you learn, how you practice. In front of my
Clap one more time. Say middle school and then clap one more time.
Middle school.
One more time.
Middle school. We didn't really do much talent shows in the terms of like you have your own talent and then you come in and like perform. It was just all different things that, you know, we were kind of interested in. They gave everybody a fair shot to get as involved as they wanted to get in. And then we also did different projects and whatnot too that, you know, as you performed well, you start to understand who you are and like what you're interested in. And then like, for example, that statewide award that I got for writing when I was like 8 or 9 years old was through Bridgeport schools too. So it was multicultural as well as YARC, Young Authors and Readers and Writers competition. But yeah, it was all curated through multicultural and their staff, and you know, just making sure that the kids knew that there were actual options in education, that they had the ability to kind of believe in themselves and, you know, express themselves. We would do emphasis on like performance, a lot of different dances from different cultures. We were doing Irish stepping, we were singing, we were, like I said, learning other languages, campaigning for different class political positions like class representative or vice president or president. I was the school president my 8th grade year too, so it was fun.
How did you get that?
I learned how to market. So while everybody was trying to be the president and whatnot, and they was like telling the kids to vote for them, I was talking to my parents and I was like, yo, I want to be the president. And then we came up with an idea to make bookmarks. So we was passing out bookmarks. Everybody got their bookmark. When it came time to vote, you see right there who you're going to vote for because they had a bookmark. And that also helped me too, like just really understanding, if you want to hear the real story, is like when it comes to the support of the government or the support of the higher powers that be or whatever the case may be, there was active like personnel that was like, oh, this is not a popularity contest. This is not this or that, because they knew that I was becoming more popular and about to win. So it almost seemed like it was a little bit of sabotage, but I ended up winning because I connected with the kids directly. Like I was funny, I was talking to them, I was giving them bookmarks. And, you know, I ended up becoming the class president in spite of the teachers that didn't necessarily want me to be it. So, and it's the same situation I feel like with this. Not that we had any opposition with the movies, but the lack of support, if there is some, or the overwhelming support from the actual people. That's what matters. You feel like you're not getting the support from people you should be getting it from. Like if you put somebody in your movie and they're not pushing it the way you thought that they should, or if you are like, yo, I'm big enough, I should be on every interview show or radio show, and they're not reaching out to you, you might feel like you're lacking support. But the real support are the people that is your audience. And I realized that firsthand ever since a kid when I was passing out bookmarks and selling candy, and even to now. I'm talking directly to my audience. The other people are just avenues to connect you to your audience. So if you're talking to your audience directly, kids would like paint murals. So like in there, I'm pretty sure my mural with my name is in there too. It was a good school. It was a magnet school. They prioritized understanding different cultures and different people and not really being like too pigeonholed into one way of thinking. So we would do like different events where you'd have to bring certain types of foods or clothing or whatever the case may be from your background or from a background that it was assigned to you. And you would eat different types of foods. We would like speaking different languages. Like I learned Spanish here. Back in the day, we still had music class. I played the saxophone. I learned how to read music. So it was dope. A lot of my friends, actually people that were in Bridgeport, the movie, is from here. Like people I met from here.
What was your favorite part about going to this school?
Like I had great friends. Like I said, I had friends that are in Hollywood now. I have friends that are producers now. I have friends that are sports players. The people that I've met here, I built lifelong relationships with. So I appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that they had decent education too. I mean, we didn't have the best funding. Like I was sharing textbooks and stuff like that, but you know, the teachers cared, made sure that we were educated, and you know, being able to use everything that I learned here and capitalize off of that going forward. Like our science program was dope too. Like we had science projects every year. I really love science. And like I said, I ended up going into high school being pretty good in chemistry, biology, etc. And then in college, my initial major was chemical engineering too. So a lot of that started here. And you know, the teachers were good. It was more of like a kind of family environment a little bit. And yeah, I love the the connections I've made here too. It was dope. Honestly. Kindergarten through 8th grade, I mean, there's some people that was in my class from kindergarten all the way up to 8th grade. So I still talk to them today.
That's funny that that's like middle school, like kindergarten to 8th grade.
So I don't know if a lot of schools do it, but certain schools that are magnet schools start nowadays from like pre-K to kindergarten, and they'll bring you all the way up to high school. Some of them even have a high school now.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so when we were doing it, my brother got in kindergarten, and they had like a legacy thing where if you were related to somebody, you're automatically accepted, because it's a lottery program. I was able to get in because my brother was in, and then normally if you're at multicultural, you're probably going to end up staying until graduation of 8th grade, unless you get kicked out or something like that. A lot of creative individuals I met here, and yeah, I'm definitely grateful for that. And it's Eastside Middle School too. Like Bridgeport sometimes has a bad reputation about, you know, education and whatnot, but you got schools like this that are making concerted efforts to make sure that the kids are prepared for high school and college, etc. You got to shine a good light on it. You got to respect it. I was born Justin Royce Thompson, right? And I wanted to make sure that I was comfortable with everything, especially like going back to history, etc. My mom, I think she did like Ancestry or one of those like history lookup places, and like it was annoying when we went to a certain point and then we just got like numbers, right? Black male 1, black male 2, black male 3. And I felt like I wanted a fresh start when it came to like my name, the name that I was gonna give my children, etc. So I went with the name that my parents gave me, which was Justin Royce. I couldn't really trace where Thompson came from, outside of obviously my dad. And obviously, you know, it's a sore subject sometimes when we speak about it, but I wanted to make sure that Justin Royce was the name that my parents gave me, and I can say, listen, these are our names because these are the two people that named us. And that's very important for me because, you know, I'm stamping a lot of things that I'm doing with my family name. It's the name that I was given to my parents. It's a family thing, like from the beginning, from the absolute beginning. They asked like, why is it called the Royce Empire? Because that's what it is. It's really just an empire of a family. My mom kind of stole the show in terms of like her fan base, etc. And I knew it too. I told her when she said an audition that she'd be big.
I can't even get a hold of the little nigga.
So you telling me you haven't heard from my son?
Nobody has.
So what you doing up in here with me?
I felt like you'd rather hear it face to face. Plus, I don't even know who got the nigga.
You don't know who got him. You know Shaw got him. If you don't get out here and get my son, nigga, that's your nephew.
And she's great. Like, she takes direction really well. She has a natural ability to act, and that's super fun to deal with. With Tavard Gray Smith and Marcus Barkley, these are people that I've worked with in the past with Park City Blues, which was a web series that they were in. And we kind of spoke about doing this back then. So it's dope that we're even able to actually do it. So it's always fun working with people that you grew up with. My cousin Jordan, he did really good. He did really well in his character, and he's a pleasure to work with as well. Somebody that I've been recording since he was a kid, and you know, seeing how good he is in terms of music, film, and everything creatively is fire. And my dad too. So my dad was in Dead in the Day, and in Dead in the Day, he was not who he is in real life. Whereas in Bridgeport the movie, he kind of was a pastor anyway. So it was like he was able to act and not act at the same time.
If you tell me you're gonna pay me back, you make sure you pay me back. Look at this face, young man. Does this look like a face you want to piss off?
No, sir, not at all.
And, you know, my dad is such a creative, like visionary person. That's definitely where I get it from. And he built his church 30 plus years ago, independent, by himself, no support, no help. And he did it by just knocking on doors and asking people like, yo, like, you know, you could come to church with me. And it doesn't really have anything to do with the creative aspect of it, but just the drive and the want and the, for lack of a better term, obsession with getting something done. I was able to look at and then recreate. So being able to then work with my dad and direct him and stuff like that too, it's a full circle moment. And I feel like it's one of those things that it's hard to describe. Even the best writers kind of make it hard to describe when you really putting your family in a position where, you know, they might not have thought they would be able to be in, at least creatively. They're already situated financially, but just giving them a, you know, something else to be hopeful and interested about, like a whole new career, I think is dope. I would implore anybody to try it. It's a family business. It's like actually, imagine Thanksgiving on set. It's just mad fun.
Why was it important to name the film after, and excuse me, what do you prefer? Because I know it's Bridgeport the movie.
Yeah.
So it's like, but I know it's a film, and I know you're a film director, and you're a director in general. But I wanted to make sure we got the language right.
So, yeah, film, movie. I mean, I kind of think it's synonymous. Movie got more of a feel of like, yo, this is a movie, right? So that's why I named it Bridgeport the movie, so you can understand like, yo, it's a movie. In every sense of the word. But I named it Bridgeport the movie because I knew it was going to get worldwide attention, and there wasn't really any real stamp or real specific thing that my city could kind of point to that we all were like, okay, this is a new era of us, right? I feel like it kind of pushes things into new era, and I feel like it was necessary. So, I took it upon myself to do it. I wanted to drive more pride from where we're from. I don't want us to look into other cities and emulate their music. I don't want us to look at the other cities and emulate their businesses. I want us to take an introspective look and say, okay, this is how we want to represent ourselves. We're going to call ourselves this. We're going to make music like this. We're going to get into the culture of what we got going on because we don't need the validation from other people. And the reason why we're able to do that is because things like Bridgeport the movie and the other films that other people are making are becoming bigger, more popular, and just more dope to be around. So I hope that I'm doing my part in just pushing that loyalty for the creatives to stay home. Do your thing when it comes to like the bigger scene, the Hollywood scene, but make sure that you're looking back at home and seeing the things that people are doing, and you're endorsing it and you're pushing it. And we're going to be making more and more creative content that's centered around and from Bridgeport and Connecticut too, specifically. Family, friends, everybody you see in and around the movie definitely had experience prior. Now, it wasn't to that scale. It wasn't to a situation where it was a feature film, but at-home plays and like church plays, web series, all different types of experience. I feel like a lot of times people overstep and overlook like real practice and real experience because it's not legitimized by other forms of media. But when you're sitting there doing like the TikTok trend 40 times in a row, or if you're sitting there practicing lines in the mirror, just acting like you're somebody off of a hit TV show, that's practice. And it's definitely different when it translates to actual film, but that's homegrown practice. It's just a love for the arts, and everybody who was in and around the film really just has that love for it. So it was really easy translating it into a good film because we all pretty much knew what we were doing. We did it before multiple times. So once you are able to teach somebody like, yo, this is the character that I need you to be, and they start to internalize that, then you start getting magic. Like there's certain things that you don't even write and it starts popping out because they really feel like they're into that character. And I feel like, a lot of creatives have that ability, especially the people who like make music, because it's kind of similar, your persona and how you push it. With young authors, I think for us it started in like 3rd or 4th grade. And it was like I don't know if it was a nationwide competition or if it was just regional or just the state, but essentially what they did was they gave everybody a prompt and you had to make a story based upon a certain subject. And I think ours was mystery that year.
We have brilliant students in the Bridgeport Public Schools.
It wasn't optional for us, like we had to do it as a project, but based upon how good it was, you would get submitted. When I got my prompt and I looked at it, I was like, oh, like I'm about to make a story. And I like making stories even since I was a kid. I like making stories, I like rapping about stories, all that type of stuff. So I was like, all right, bet, I'm about to make me a story. And I said, Mom, and this is back in the day, like I'm like 8 or 9 years old. I said, Mom, I need your help because I need you to type for me. because I wanted to say the story and talk about the story, and I wanted her to like type while I'm saying the story. She said, all right. So we sat in the room. I remember it clear as day. I was like, yeah. So in my like, all right, this is what I want to do. And we're like talking about ideas. I want this to be in the story, that to be in the story. She said, okay, well, if this happens, then is this gonna happen or this gonna happen? I'm like, no, we gotta do this or that. And I'm an 8-year-old brain, 9-year-old brain, just bringing all these different types of stuff going in. And then I start telling the story, and then she started typing it. So she's typing it, like some notes. But she's not gonna do the project for me. So she's like, yo, all right, now you gotta go into it and do what you gotta do after I kind of like let you do your brain dump and write it down. So then I wrote it down, and she proofread it, and then we was like, okay, this spelling is wrong, and then we went through it. And then after we did that and the story was done, my uncle was working at what used to be called People's Bank. It's M&T Bank now, downtown Bridgeport. And he had, I think he had they had like a partnership with Xerox or something like that. And this is back when you could laminate stuff, and that was new. Like Word documents with like the word art was new. So I basically sent over the files to him, and he laminated it, binded it, made it look real professional. But when I turned it into school, they was like, oh, this is really dope, and we read it. And then the school sent it in. They told me like, hey, Justin, you're gonna be missing school this day. And I'm like, why? And he was like, because we gotta bring you to Young Authors because you won.
4th grade, multicultural magnet, Justin Thompson.
So then I walked over there, and then you start looking at the books and the projects that people put on the counter, and you see what place you got. And I'm looking, I found my book.
Wow, he has first place. That's wonderful.
So if they didn't win, and they just pick
First place. So I ended up getting first place in Young Authors. And I was like, yeah, I was like 8 or 9 years old.
Let's have a round of applause for the first prize winners for the 2003 year. Also grade 1 Barnum School, Barbara Martinez. Grade 2 Multicultural, Pedro Garcia.
Justin.
Grade 3
And then there's a picture of me in a book where I'm like cheesing with the multicultural shirt on, and it says author at the bottom. That was another book that I did probably like a year or two before. So they always made sure that you did something creative.
So if you showed your idea to someone who believed in you, I want you to keep doing that, to keep showing your ideas, to keep reading, to keep writing.
Is there something you learned while filming that caters to the need of your position and other creatives in Connecticut?
If you feel as though there's content that needs to be made, it's up to you to make it. A lot of times people are like, I'm not the editor, so I shouldn't be editing. I'm not the marketer, I shouldn't be marketing. I'm not the business person, I shouldn't be. Okay, then it's just not gonna be done then. Like, it's either you do it or you don't get it done. And I feel like that's the point that we need to be at right now. If you feel like something needs to be done, you're going to have to do it until someone looks at you and say, I will do it for you, either for a fee or because I'm gonna subscribe to your vision. Everybody keeps saying, yo, I need a team for this, I need a team for that, I need a team for that. Bro, be your own team until you can outsource it. That's what you need to do. If you wanna be a creator and you wanna get stuff done in any industry, whether it be music, film, artistic, fashion, etc., figure it out. For sure. The challenges that I would say strengthen me the most are things that probably aren't even related to anything creative, right? I feel like a lot of people really put a lot of effort into certain things and it might not go their way and now discourage them. And you know, I went to a couple of different places where it's like any other kid who's playing sports, you're not getting enough playing time, or you make a song, it's not getting enough views, etc. Just those things that kind of make it seem as though you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing sometimes. And I think that kind of strengthened my want to figure out how it could work out for me. You see what I mean? As opposed to sitting there saying like, all right, this is my fate, I'm not gonna be able to do it. So not having somebody record you, not having somebody act with you, not having somebody available for photo shoots, it put me in a position where I had to be creative in figuring out how to get it done regardless. And that really just helped me in my drive to get, these movies done, because a lot of times I had to rely on my own expertise to edit or my own expertise to shoot or whatever the case may be, because people just weren't available. So just the lack of availability on other people's part kind of put me in a position to, rely on myself. My work ethic was instilled by my parents. But the thing about me is I hate to put it any other way, but the term is lazy, in the sense that it's like, I want to be able to get to the solution as quick as possible. I don't want to do all this extra stuff that doesn't translate to the goal, right? So I'm not lazy in the sense that I'm not going to get the job done. I'm just lazy in the sense that I'm going to find the most efficient way possible to do it. You see what I'm saying? So I even knew that as a kid, in the sense that, okay, bet, if it's a situation where people wanted to cross the road, I want to figure out how do we get there as quickly as possible. And I'll do whatever I need in the front end to make sure that, we're able to do that. So that kind of is what differentiated me, just being able to sit, understand what the goal is, finesse my way into understanding how quickly I can get to it, and then just doing that efficiently. A big turning point for me was in college. When I was going into college, it wasn't a situation where I really knew what major I wanted. One of my teachers said, hey, you're good at chemistry, you should be a chemical engineer. So when they asked me at UConn, yo, what do you want to be? I said, chemical engineer. It's the first thing I thought of. And then I'll probably say going into my junior year, I started realizing the reason why I want to have this job is because of the financial security. And the reason why I want the financial security is because I want to be able to do the things I want to do. If I want to play basketball, if I want to rap, if I want to sing, if I want to act, I want to be able to have the freedom to express myself with what I want to do during the day-to-day. So I basically had a plan for financial freedom, and I ended up dropping out of school because of that. I was like, yo, listen, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur. This is my plan, etc. So I dropped out of school, and that was the turning point, because I realized that I had the ability to make my own decisions. I ended up, finishing my degree on time, but just the aspect of saying I'm gonna do this differently than what everybody else is doing really opened up everything. So that's why I'm here now. Not really worried about what other people got going on, just doing what I think makes the most sense. Being independent in and of itself is fun, because you really get to determine what you want to do, right? There's really no other say. You get to say exactly what you want to say and do whatever you want to do without an engine kind of pushing you and steering you. Adding the Black aspect of it is super important, because there's not really that many independent Black filmmakers at a higher level, because of essentially movie type redlining, right? So I understand the position that I'm in. I understand how valuable it is to other people, especially where I'm from, and even just in the world in general. And then on top of that, it's just dope because we have a lot of people who are interested in it, and they just don't have the ability to express themselves. So I feel like it's dope because I'm in a position to put people in a place where they're able to use that as an outlet. A lot of people feel as though we got support or political endorsement, or whatever you want to call it, from the mayor's office because of I guess the photo op and the news article and whatnot. And if I'm gonna be as completely honest as I can be, while being tasteful, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but the real aspect of it is, I had a movie that was coming out. It's called Bridgeport the movie, right? I hired probably one of the most famous or well-known people to be in the movie that Bridgeport has seen in a while. I'm not gonna say of all time because I'm not entirely sure, but as long as what I know, that's all I know, right? So when I did that, I figured when he comes in, we should have a media day. Have a media day, have the news, have everybody come through, etc. So my team and I, we reached out to these people and said, hey, come to my media day. We're gonna be doing filming, etc. Up until literally 15 minutes before we got on air, people were saying, hey, I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm not going to be able to make it. And this is including like the actual press. I said, Candace, she actually was curating everything while we were shooting. I said, Candace, like, yo, you got to make it happen. You got to make it happen. She made it happen. She got everybody there. I don't know how. You got to talk to her. But she got everybody there. And then, Frank Recchi is there. He's a famous person. Or he's really well known for covering journalism in Bridgeport and Connecticut as a whole. And then the mayor's there. And then you see a slew of people behind me who are my family, my friends, and people that just showed up that day, right? I'm just setting the landscape. This is literal things that happen. Frank interviews me, mics me up, I speak to everybody, etc. The mayor comes, shake his hand, he says a couple of things too. Next day, or the time in which, it ends up getting on TV, the story isn't about me for real. Like, if you actually look at the story, it doesn't say Royce Empire or anything. It says the initiative that the mayor has in terms of bringing films and stuff like that. So they include me into it, obviously, because I'm the producer, actor, director, everything when it comes to the film. But the write-up wasn't really about me at all. It was about potential tax breaks or incentives that are going to have films, I guess, look at Bridgeport as a place where they want to film. Now, prior to that moment, prior to that whole situation, there was no conversation with the mayor's office at all. After that moment, even including the premiere, also no conversation with the mayor's office at all. We reached out to them. We reached out to Frank Recchi again, talking about the premiere, etc. There was no response. Like, it wasn't even a situation where it was like, oh yeah, we're not doing this because X, Y, and Z. They just didn't respond back to us. Now, from my perspective, we had the biggest independent film in probably Connecticut's history. Bridgeportians, people coming from all over America. Everybody was there. It was dope. And they didn't cover it. So my question is, how don't you cover the biggest? You see what I'm saying? I'm not even saying that from a cocky standpoint. We're the biggest, literally by the numbers. You look at the numbers, the biggest of all time. If not the biggest of all time, the biggest in recent memory, from what I know. How do you not cover the biggest? Do you have your own reservations because it's me? Do you have your own reservations because you're not involved in it? Do you have your own reservations because it's independent? I don't know and this is not just about the mayor. This is about everybody who's doing quote unquote press. We the biggest. It's the most obvious in terms of the biggest. Even if it wasn't about me, we got one of the most popular independent filmmaker actors right now. Everybody knows Jamal Woolard. Everybody knows Biggie. You see what I'm saying? So what did I do that made you not want to cover that, right? So I don't know. When it comes to support, the reason why I get animated about it is because you just saw us pack out the Klein. You saw us pack out in the city, and that's with the journalists that I spoke to directly. That's with the journalists that I knew since a kid or since college or whatever, and my marketing. It wasn't because somebody said, oh, we about to endorse them. Shout out to the people who did see it and reach out to us, like S&M Radio, Kevin and Janelle on Star 99.9. But it's like, yo, I'm going to different demographics that's interested in what we got going on, but not even in my own backyard. I got to go out to Milford. I got to go out to all these other places to promote it. But in my own backyard, I don't want to do it, right? I don't know why. People often reserve their support until you do something that's groundbreaking because they don't want to say, oh, I was pushing it and it ended up being a flop. They don't want to be around something that ends up being a flop. So they're like, oh yeah, I don't know if that's going to be lit. I don't believe in it. Even people that was in and around the film. Like, I dealt with a lot. Trust me. I'm on a rant right now because I'm with family. But I dealt with a lot. It's also like, yo, like, y'all a part of the film. Long story short, before I end up going even crazier, if you're motivated by something, if you care about something, if you feel like something's going to happen, you got to make it happen. I'm talking to the camera directly. You have to make it happen because you're going to go to all these different places. Some people are going to leave you on red. Some people are going to reply, then leave you on red. Some people are going to reply and not do what they're supposed to do. And then you're going to say, oh, it's that person's fault. No, it's your fault because you have to bully it into existence. If I left it up to anybody else to do anything with anything I had going on last year, then in the day, Bridgeport the movie, my marketing campaigns, all of that, it wouldn't have happened. And you could talk to my team specifically. You could talk to my family specifically about how much work I had to do, sleepless nights, etc. Because I was bullying it into existence. So forget the support. Talk to the people that will support you directly. And if you are able to establish that connection with them about something that is interesting, that they care about, it doesn't matter if you get the national coverage. It doesn't matter if you get the media coverage, because if you look at it from my perspective, I didn't get it. The most popular blogs, magazines, and all that type of stuff in Bridgeport didn't cover me for whatever reason. And we're the biggest. So ask them why they didn't want to cover the biggest. But the people that actually was there that cared, mad shares, mad retweets. And my city stepped out for me. They loved it. Everybody in Bridgeport is talking about it. I had an immense amount of support from the actual individuals. The media engines, legacy media, I don't know why they didn't cover it. And I'm not saying that we don't want them later on. If Frank Rickia, the mayor, whoever wants to come to the next one, by all means. All I'm saying is, when it came to this one leading up to it, it wasn't there. Did you see him at the premiere? Nobody was at the premiere. The people that was at the premiere was the people that I spoke to directly. We had over 700 people. Even from a political standpoint, why not take that time to do a photo op? I don't know. I can't answer that. But when people ask like how I got this person's support and that person's support, I really didn't get it. If you look at the article, it's not even about me for real. It's about, and then on top of that, when it comes to the initiatives that they were talking about, we didn't benefit off of it. Everything came out of my pocket directly. When it came to renting places, funding flights, we didn't have no tax breaks. Connecticut didn't reach out to us. Nothing. Everything came out of my pocket directly. So everything they got going on when it comes into the initiatives or what that write-up was about, we didn't even benefit off of. So I don't know whether or not it's something that they're doing in the future or something that we were not eligible for, but we reached out concerning that, didn't get anything either. And this is not a rant just about the mayor. It's just the truth of what happened with the premiere. If they do have things that can incentivize us, shoot, send it our way. I'm not saying that we are trying to burn a bridge. I'm just saying it didn't happen. And if you're expecting me to say that it did happen when it didn't, I can't do that. Because the audience that was there, they saw me there. They saw me in a chinchilla and they saw my family on TV. I can't put it no other way. And it wasn't because nobody else pushed it besides the Royce Empire. Something I learned on set is people really, really are interested in this stuff. Like, while we're shooting, you see kids waving, you see people coming to, like, be behind the scenes and look what's going on and whatnot. We was across the street of a juvenile detention center, and there was kids just, like, looking through the window like this while we're shooting. People gonna remember that, right? And the wild part about it is, while I'm doing that, there's people on set that is in that position. So they're low-key looking at themselves. And I want to be able to express it. I'm like, yo, I'm not in Hollywood by choice. I'm not in these places by choice. I want to be here in front of you. And I want you to see that you can do this too. So, yeah, I learned a lot on set. There's obviously more to learn because we got more sets to make. Favorite part about multicultural, I really liked
Justin Royce, the press conference.
Okay. It doesn't really matter.
Buckle up for this next one.
Okay, what's up?
Like literally.
I'll take it.
Who's Justin Royce?
So, Justin Royce, the Emperor. Oh, I gotta be louder, my fault. Justin Royce, the Emperor. I'm somebody who's creative.
No clapping like that.
Don't clap?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanna hear it.
Okay.
Remember, I got to have you clap for the test run too.
Okay.
So good thing you did that because it reminded me.
I remember, like, someone's telling me to clap right now. Is it that you told me? Is it me?
Okay.
All right, we're clapping and then we're starting.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
What things do you think could happen for the community at large? I'm just making shit up. Is there some?
Let's do this here, man.
Yeah. I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but you got chapstick?
No.
All right, just so I'm making sure, like, I'm doing a check on them on yourself, because I know when
Not yet. Trust me,
when
listen.
I'm looking and I'm doing videos, somebody won't tell me.
Yeah, tell me. If I got a booger, I need chapstick, whatever, let me know.
And then you want to tilt it, you can twist this, tilt it up.
Yeah, I know that part.
Okay.
I know that part.
and then.
Thank you so much. And also, you got a little book. I ain't gonna hold you.
Good? I do?
Yeah,
Which one?
and that one.
Left?
Yeah. Wait. You ain't got no tissue? Oh, you good?
I ain't finna shake nobody hand.
Yeah.
Actually, I do got some tissue in my pocket though. Did I get it?
Yeah. You got like a little bit on the top though now. Okay. All right, you good.
I'm so
Now you don't trust me, right?
Yeah, now I gotta see it.
It's good now.
Okay, yeah, I'm good. See, you need people like you. But otherwise, they're gonna say it in the comments.
Right.
It's good.
All right, so that was 3, but I didn't even see him walk over there. Damn, I gotta pay attention.
We close enough. Close enough.
What was the food like?
All the food wasn't good. I'm telling you right now, all the food wasn't good. I was eating some of this stuff like, nah, this joint nasty. It was like, so it was like, think of like a potluck. Like people would bring in their food from like different cultures and stuff like that. Like, and the thing about me is like, I'm not a picky eater, but I like stuff I like and I don't like stuff I don't
Are you
like.
talking about the event food was nasty? I'm talking about like everyday food. What was the food?
Everyday food?
Yeah,
terrible.
like
I'm talking about event food, but I don't even want to talk about everyday food. Everyday food is terrible.
Okay.
Like back in the day, like
When I had
school lunch food, like no, terrible.
What was the punishment like? Like when you got lunch attention, what was the food like? There's a reason why I said that.
Lunch attention.
They gave us cheese sandwiches, like,
Word?
with bread. That's it. No mayonnaise, nothing.
Bad work.
Yeah.
I mean, we on Fridays I think we got like beef patties.
When you had lunch attention, they gave y'all beef patties?
We didn't have lunch attention. We
They
had
ain't
just
have
regular
lunch
detention. Yeah, regular
Oh,
detention.
shit.
You just gotta go to the office.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, in school suspension.
Lunch attention was crazy.
Yeah, we didn't get lunch attention. In high school, we got.
They put you at a table in my school.
Word?
Yeah.
Oh, you know it. It was funny. But you was over there doing
Not
being
that
bad.
much. Not that much.
Okay.
Just a few times, and those few times was impactful.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
I ain't coming back here.
It only took a few for them niggas to. Anyway, it's funny.
People coming from different countries, different
Yeah.
counties. I think we might have got-
What's his name came out from UConn?
Yeah, we had people from all over America.
The nigga that's in Egypt.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Dubai, right?
Yeah,
So-
Dubai. My bad.
Yeah. Right.
It's big business.
It's big business.
What are your favorite black films and films in general?
All right, so my favorite film outside of the films that I made, obviously, because those are my favorite. But Gattaca is my favorite film, and it's about a dude who was not supposed to get into a certain goal that he had for himself. Everything was showing him that he shouldn't even try it, and there was actually qualifications that was making sure that he couldn't even try it. And regardless of all of that, he just bullied himself into, you know, the position in which what you wanted to be. And then, you know, sci-fi is like, dystopian future is kind of like one of my favorite genres, so I really like that. Get Out is dope too. That's a black film. Not even really a black film, but just by a black director, black cast. I like Get Out. It's funny. It's got horror aspects in it, shot well. Yeah, and if you go to like TV and series and stuff like that too, I like Snowfall. I like Black Mirror.
I like Black Mirror too.
Yeah, I like Black Mirror a lot.
Black Mirror too, but they ain't got no episodes out.
Yeah, I know they've been playing, but you know, I'm eagerly awaiting their return. Like that. If they do the right stuff.
Alright, you done? Yeah. You got some more you want to hit us with?
Well, I do want to talk a little bit about Black
Okay.
Mirror in the sense that it's like original OG stuff was dope, and I feel like maybe now it's a little bit in a different direction. I'm not entirely sure. Like one of the seasons was decent, and then the season before that I didn't really like. But the seasons before that was like my favorite TV show, and then the Twilight Zone was my favorite TV show too. So.
The Twilight was my favorite too.
I
used to watch it as a kid.
Yeah,
Twilight it was Zone. Like scary too.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, and it had dope subjects. Yeah.